Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Thank you for being here tonight. Guys, tonight we're going to do a little bit of a chill stream. Right off the bat, I want to thank some people. I'm being sent stuff now. I'm like a big-time influencer. Okay, this is the Disinformed shirt from the Cosmic Summit. I like it. It's pretty cool. It's anti-propaganda t-shirt stuff. I've got like 6 of their shirts, so check their stuff out, guys. It's Disinform. What is that? Disinformedbrand.com if you didn't see it yesterday. Sweet. Also, shout out to Carrie. Look at this chat. Look at what we have in here. Woo! Look at this bad boy, guys. No more legal liability from Delta Airlines for me, chat. I always loved you, Delta. It was never personal whatsoever. Chat, old and busted. Old and busted. New hotness. Oh. On Tim Pool, we are going to have quite the models to show off, and I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, guys. Let's see. What's been going on? Oh, yeah. So, shout out to this poor Fox lady who, like, tragically took her own life because Redditors were, like, bullying her or whatever. I just want to shout her out because I read through what they were doing to her, and it was eerily similar to the attacks that have been on me and other people in like the UFO community and, you know, just honestly online in general, basically online in general. And I'm not here to say that we're going to change the internet and all of a sudden it's going to get cleaned up, but literally all it would take is removing anonymity and the internet would be like a perfect place probably. But that's a side point. So I just want to shout out her because it's like, it's hard to even understand from people like, why are people this way? Like somebody's doing something you don't like you build this idea in your head. They ruminate. They build this idea in their head of you, this perception of you, based on your social media, based on what they see about you, based on the information that are presented. And they build you into this monster, and then they think that they have this, like, what is it? Like a cause, basically. Like, what's the word for it? Jesus. Where is it? Savior complex. They have this savior complex, right? And then they go after you and like they make weird 100-page documents about you, right? So shout out to her, guys. Now let me rant real quick. Because of course I've seen the social media shit. How fucking stupid do you have to be to not realize this video is real? Have you seen fake videos where the screen is moving around? No, it's not like the camera's moving around. The fucking computer screen is moving around. No, you haven't seen that before because it doesn't exist in the public world. This is only military software that you're looking at right here, at least in 2014. People are coming at me like, the videos are fake. What the what are you talking about? The videos are fake. Who made them? You found some assets you think were used to make them. Who fucking made this video? Who made the video? If you don't know who made the video, then shut the fuck up. Nobody made the video. It's a real leaked military video that's quite literally Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. This isn't a fucking joke. This isn't a fucking game. I'm not out here doing this for money. Are you fucking retarded? You're looking at a leaked fucking military video of MH370, the plane that disappeared on March 8th, 2014. And you think somebody made this? You think someone made this video of a fucking MQ-9 drone with a Lightning G4 pod underneath Hardpoint 5? In color FLIR? In color FLIR? Of a real Boeing 777? That's not a fake Boeing 777. It's a real Boeing 777 flying through the sky. Two different angles of the same exact thing. How fucking dumb do you have to be to not realize that video's real? I'm sorry, I'm not coddling you idiots anymore. You have to be the biggest fucking retard on the face of the earth to not realize that that is a real video you're looking at. No one on this planet could have ever faked it, not in a million fucking years. And that's the reason why even 2 years later, nobody has even come remotely close. Everybody gave up. Every single person in the whole world gave up trying to recreate that video right there. Because it's not possible. Because it's a real fucking video at nighttime of a real airplane that the United States government ran an operation on. Get it through your dumb fucking heads. Keep watching the video until it sticks in your retarded fucking heads that it's real. If you can't tell this video's real, just get rid of yourself right now and leave the planet for the rest of us. Because we need people who are not fucking retarded on this planet so that we can get the hell off of it. In fact, I want to get the hell away of it from anybody who doesn't understand this video is not real, or this video is real. I'm going to clip that one out of context, I'm sure. Anybody who cannot understand two leaked military videos of assets that nobody in the public's ever seen before, that are 10 years old, just weeks after this plane disappeared. You're talking to me about video game effects and some stock photos that the CIA planted on some website after they realized the footage leaked. Find the person who made the videos or shut the fuck up. Is that clear? Is that not clear? The only thing you can possibly do on this world to convince anybody those videos are fake is find the person who made them. We've already had one person who's been confirmed to be a scammer, who's been pretending for a year and a half to have made the videos that convinced half the Redditors that he was the guy. And he just got exposed as a total fraud last week. And you're coming at me about the videos are fake? Fuck you. Fuck you, man. Are you fucking kidding me? I found the guy that leaked the videos. It's fucking over, man. It's over. There's no debates about the videos being real. You're either a fucking retard who can't tell the videos are real, or you realize they are and you're trying to push us forward to the next level. There's no questioning whether the videos are real. Everything's already been confirmed. The only thing that happened now is for the government to admit to it. That's it. That's it, man. So when you make stupid ass shit about me, just realize, you don't realize how fucking dumb you look in the future. You don't realize that you're making the biggest mistake ever. I keep telling you over and over and over, and you don't fucking listen. I'm not fucking with you. This is real life. That video is real. Your life is a fucking lie. Your whole life is a lie. Your parents' lives were a lie. Everything on this earth is a lie. Welcome to Earth. Jesus, man. Just felt like some of you needed a reality check. Y'all are here on YouTube thinking you're playing a fucking game. This isn't a game. Y'all think I'm out here like, hey, man, I'm going to be famous from convincing people that fake teleportation is possible. Go watch the live streams, man. Go watch them from the beginning to now. Go watch them. Go see the person that I was then to the person that I am now. You go watch those live streams, then you come to me and you tell me that I'm making this all up. I did everything in the open. If you're not willing to actually like put in any effort to educate yourself, then why do you expect me to do it for you? Why do you expect me to do it for you? I've spent 1.5 years of my life to learn all this science, all this physics, to try to help humanity. Why don't you do that? Literally anyone who's coming at me, why don't you do that? Because you're a piece of shit and you're too fucking lazy. That's the truth, right? You're a piece of shit, a lazy piece of shit, and you don't want to learn anything or do anything. That's the truth, huh? I accept the debate with Daniel Whiteson. I see the comments. I read your comments. I accept the debate with Daniel Whiteson. Where is he? There he is. Okay. I'm a particle physicist and professor at University of Physics, UC Irvine. Well, Daniel Whiteson, I hear that you are addressing me in your lectures in your physics classes, which, A, I have to say is pretty awesome. That's like the greatest thing ever, actually. Like the fact that I am so influential that literally University of California, Irvine, has physics professors addressing 0-point energy because of what I'm saying on social media. That's a big boost. Thank you very much for that. I greatly appreciate that. That goes to show, chat, that I'm at least top 25 0-point energy physicists on the planet. Maybe top 10 already. Maybe top 10. I'm going to be the world's leading expert in 0-point energy. I'm going to be that. If that makes you upset, good. Good. So, supposedly, this guy challenged me. The moment I heard his name and looked him up and saw his Twitter, I remember him. I'm not afraid at all. I was never afraid of anybody anyway, but I relish the opportunity to debate Daniel Whiteson. In fact, I'll go so far, I'm going to give you a handicap. You're going to need it. I'm going to give you a handicap. I will let you pick the topics. You can have the topics. You got to come on my channel. Since you're trying to clout chase off me, I looked up your social media following. It's not very impressive. So you can come on my channel, give you a boost that you probably need. You can pick the topics, whatever conceptual physics you want. I'm not going to do any hard equations in the middle of a debate, but any physics you want, any papers you want to reference, you can send them to me ahead of time. I'll even read the papers ahead of time. So we can go as long as you want as well. I'm down for it. I'll schedule it anytime in the next, whenever you want. So, Daniel Whiteson, I accept your debate challenge. Officially been accepted. And I absolutely look forward to annihilating you in the debate. No personal offense. I really look forward to educating your physics students, because I took a look as well here at your, what do they call this? RateMyProfessor.com. Apparently they have like rating your professors. 3.5 out of 5. I'm not going to say that's great. 54%, 56% would take again. I mean, I wouldn't be super happy with that. Now, I'm not one of those people that's going to go through and just kind of humiliate you from all your like negative reviews. But I do want to point this out. His lecture is interesting, but he never tells you how to solve the problems. He also said the practical final will be similar to the real final, but it's actually really difficult. So when I actually read through some of these, there were actually some legitimate complaints. Like the impression that I got was that he's not somebody who really teaches you physics. He's somebody who just regurgitates it to you, right? He just, here, I'm going to do a bunch of math. Now you got to go learn and figure it out, right? Is that really teaching people? It doesn't surprise me then that he would get questions about my content and stuff like that on 0 Point Energy. Because the one thing that I try to do is to actually explain stuff in a way that anybody can understand. Because if people aren't understanding it intuitively themselves, then it doesn't feel like I'm teaching them. Anybody can go onto Google and see what the, you know, what the AI, what the authority wants you to believe immediately without any type of like critical thinking for why it works that way. What I want to learn from a teacher is, why does it work that way? What are the underlying frameworks that allows it to be that way? So once again, I accept the challenge of Daniel Whiteson. You can set it up. I've got your, in fact, I'm going to follow you right now on Twitter. And also somebody said that I blocked Dave Farina. So whoever said, I didn't even know he was on Twitter. Everybody told me he's not on Twitter. So I have him blocked. Is his thing Dave Farina? Like, who is he? This one? I don't have this guy blocked. I don't know, man. This guy? That's not him. No. Okay. I uploaded my response from the last time that Dave made a video about me. I'm not going to do another response. I just did the response, the only response you need. The last one should still be sufficient. But if Dave wants to now come back and debate me after the last time I challenged him right after his first video and he dodged me entirely, and then he made another video, another defamatory video about me. Now I'm supposed to accept a debate from him? No, he already dodged. Now he realizes how bad it looks for him that he dodged me. He doesn't get to change his mind. He doesn't get to change his mind. I have absolute proof that he dodged. I have the reply. I have the reply from him where he's trying to say, oh, you really want to debate me? Why aren't you emailing me? I don't email random people. I only respond through Twitter and X. I got too much social media shit. I'm going to boomer email you. Why would I'm never going to email Dave Farina. Not in this reality. It's like the last thing in the world I would want to do. If he wants to debate me, he is going to have to fucking beg me. I want to see him on his hands and knees beg me to debate him. Why the hell would I debate him? He's a fucking loser. He doesn't know shit about physics. What do I have to gain debating Dave Farina? He's a retard. He doesn't know anything. He hasn't read off a script. I'll debate Daniel Whiteson because he's a physicist, and that will basically put me up on the pedestal once I destroy him. It's like Highlander. I'm going to steal his power. Dave Farina has no power for me to steal. He's just a loser. He might as well be a random Redditor. I'd rather debate, what were those guys' names? TJ Powell or something? Or what was the other guy's name? I don't know. Tony Adams. I'd rather debate those guys. Dave Farina. Jesus, guys. Come on, man. I talk to real physicists, not random YouTube wannabe con men. Okay. So anyway, so once again, have him reach out to me on X or whatever. We'll figure out how he's going to do it. You know, say something like, Ashton Forbes, I'm so sorry that I didn't know about 0 Point Energy. I was an idiot. Will you please debate me? See, something like that. Oh, man. I will unsubscribe if Ashton unblocks Dave Farina. I didn't even know I had him blocked. I didn't even know he was on there. Yeah, they're just doing it for the clicks, man. I know it's for the clicks too. The reality is I don't mind it. The point is we need more attention on the case. I mean, look at those videos at the beginning. They're just real. The reason why they're not getting the appropriate attention is because they're real. So the more attention, the more this goes up. I'm not afraid. Those videos are real. So anything you do to come at me, at them, whatever, you're just destroying yourself, man. Just don't say I didn't warn you, okay? Just don't say I didn't warn you later on. I can already see how this is going to go later on, where people are crying at me about, Ashton, why are you so mean to these people? Shouldn't you be turn the other cheek and be nice to the people that were like literally absolute monsters to you for years on end? No turning the other cheek. I'm going to destroy everybody. Like 100 times worse. Like you see all the toxic shit they're doing now. In the future, it's going to come back at them 100-fold. Like I'm not the hero everybody wants me to be. The guy that is this, everyone wants this paragon of virtue that's going to come down and say, oh, yes, I'm the perfect person. Here's disclosure for you. That's not how the world works, man. You guys don't get it. That's not how the world works. This Marvel fantasy that people have in their head of how the world works is not reality. Guys, that's not reality. Reality is people get destroyed. People get destroyed. That's how we move forward. We step over the bodies of the people we destroyed to reach progress. That's how it works. Because we need to have, like, especially after something like this, like the way they've been able to hide this, we're going to watch some Tom Bearden in a minute. The way they've been able to hide this is sick. I don't even know how to describe it. It's so subversive. It's brainwashing on a level that requires people to be shocked into being woken up. They need to be shocked so hard that they can never be brainwashed ever again. Like generationally. And I'll tell you guys 100%, this is how I see it playing out, is millions and millions of people are going to end their lives. Millions of people. When they realize that everything, their whole lives have been a lie. Their whole lives have been a lie. Everything has been a lie. Just what's going to happen. Like people aren't going to be able to take it. They're not going to be able to accept it. You know, that's the reality of the situation we're facing here. And we can't coddle it. We can't play the virtue signal game of like, well, maybe we should lie about it then so we don't hurt people's feelings. No. We need to destroy those people psychologically. Destroy them psychologically to the point where nobody ever again, like, you know, blindly worships authority, blindly just repeats what they're told. Everybody from this point forward should have the question of, I'm not going to just listen to what this person says. I'm going to intuitively try to understand what it means. When I say that, I mean, when you get taught something, don't just try to memorize what they're saying and try to repeat it. Your mind should be thinking about conceptualizing what it means in a way that you can like understand and explain yourself. That's what everybody on this planet, if everybody was like that, we'd have probably already had free energy and rockets going to Mars and stuff like that. That's what we have to fix. So to a degree, I agree. To some degree, I agree with the haters. The haters that are coming at me, that have been coming at me, that want to destroy me because I'm lying to people and grifting to people about a missing plane, about two obviously real military videos. They think that I just decided one day I was going to, in their minds, the videos are both fake, but I'm also grifting, convincing people they're real, making money. I don't know how they keep those two completely opposite thoughts together in their head, but whatever, right? Like the only way I could become famous from those videos is if they were real. We all agree on that? I can never become famous on videos that aren't real. What they're afraid of is they're afraid of me becoming famous because they are real. That's what they're afraid of. right? So the lesson we need to learn the most is we need to learn to think for ourselves, like be more even so than free energy, frankly. So I agree with them. Whoever's wrong, they should be destroyed entirely. Destroyed entirely. I actually don't disagree with the debunkers' philosophy of like destroying the life of the people who are lying to us about physics. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. They just don't realize that's them. They don't realize that's them. That's the saddest part, right? A lot of the comments that I was deleting earlier before the live stream, these people are just literally mentally ill. People say, Ashton, why are you being mean, calling people mentally ill? I'm using it actually literally. The thing is, you guys are saying, thinking I'm using it to like put people down, and it does kind of put them down because people use it to put people down, but they psychologically are not in our reality. Psychologically, they're not in our reality. Psychologically, they have something called rumination. It's a psychological thing. You can look it up. Rumination. They've developed a fake persona of me in their head that is this weird, evil, grifty person, right? Because they need that to be the case. Because if that's not the case and I'm not that person, then what I'm saying is true and real. And I'm an honest person, which I am, of course. And if that's the case, then their lives are a lie. Everything they've been told is a lie, you know, and that's what they can't accept. So I agree. To the person earlier, like, that was saying, let me just read this. It's actually crazy because these are somebody's true opinions. Where is it? Should be right around here. Okay, here it is. Wait, where is it? Shit. Okay, you are one of the most here. I'll put it on the screen. You are one of the most disgusting people I've ever seen, and I can't wait to watch your grift crumble because you made the worst decision of your life and poked the bear. You are a pathetic grifting fraud, and you deserve everything that's coming to you. I accept these terms, right? Like the irony is when I hear that post, the only thing that comes to mind in my head is Dave Farina. Right? Dave Farina is what I picture when I think of that post. A grifting fraud that deserves everything that's coming to them, poked the wrong bear, a completely pathetic loser whose entire life has been a lie, who's just completely disgustingly making money off of fake science on YouTube that he doesn't even understand. Pretending to be a professor that he's not. Literally a twice dropout. Like, I agree. You deserve everything that's coming to you. All you people that were attacking me and are attacking me, you deserve everything that's coming to you. 100%. And if I'm wrong, I deserve everything that's coming to me as well. Here's the problem for you. I already know I'm right. You're the ones who are questioning it. I already know I'm right. And I've said this many times. This is why I gave you guys a fair shake. I told you guys that I know the videos are real. I told you guys this many times. Many times. So there's no excuses. No excuses later on. And from the soft-hearted people out there, they're like, Ashton, please be nice to people. I'm sorry. I told them and I told you that there was no excuses. I warned them a million times. So when the tables are turned, I don't want to hear any crying, and I don't want to hear any apologies or anything like that. Apologies won't be accepted later on. I already told you, I showed you the evidence. We're going to agree to the terms. Whoever's wrong, your life is destroyed. And I think starting with Daniel Whiteson would be a great start. So, Daniel Whiteson, let's set it up. Whenever you want to do it, brother. You get to pick the topics, too. You want to talk about Michelson Morley, the ether, 0-point energy? What do you want to talk about? Warp drives, wormholes? I guarantee you I'm more read on those topics than you. But go ahead. Whatever you want. Have a debate. Exactly. Daniel Whiteson challenged me to a debate, and I accept the challenge. He is a professor, maybe, at University of California, Irvine. And apparently, his class has been asking him about 0-point energy. So I think we should educate them. Happy to do so. I have a lot of clips lined up as well from very well-established PhD physicists that have posted papers in Physical Review. I'll check and see how many papers Daniel Whiteson has in Physical Review or at all. I'll read them as well. So I'll be prepared. So everybody understands now that the challenge has been accepted. I have accepted the debate. And for Dave Farina, if he wants to debate, all he has to do is come beg me. I will even unblock him if somebody tells me what his Twitter thing is. It's kind of crazy that he's already blocked by me, and I didn't even know what his Twitter account is. Literally, I had no idea he was on Twitter. So the fact that he's blocked by me must mean that he's really a piece of shit. Anyway. Okay. War Ranch LLC. Vids are 100% legit. These idiots need to get educated. Stay strong, bro. Oh, yeah, I am. And thank you for this. Yeah, the people that say the videos are fake have never served in the military. Like, if the videos had been fake after I called out Gorgon Stare, there'd have been people lined up in my replies. The fastest way to get the right answer is to say the wrong thing on the internet. And when I say the wrong thing on the internet, there are people jumping on me, making videos about it, taking it out of context. And when I put the Gorgon Stare out there, nobody could say anything. There was nobody coming out saying, I'm in the Air Force. That's not Gorgon Stare. Gorgon Stare has been operational for a decade. Gorgon Stare has been or was operational for 10 years. The amount of people that have seen Gorgon Stare has got to be thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Nobody. I've got 2 sources that have seen it, that confirmed it. How many sources have seen Gorgon Stare that said it's not? 0. Sent my style. How do nuclear bombs like the B-83 compare to the technology that disappeared MH370? Is B-83 a nuclear bomb? I don't even know. I'm not familiar with the designations of the nuclear bombs. But if I were to compare nuclear technology to MH370, I would say that it is a nuclear bomb is an explosion. It's a release of energy, exothermic event. What we saw is an endothermic event. I would say it's an absorption of energy. Why? Because that energy sucked away and went somewhere else. So it's like the opposite. I mean, I would say everything has an opposite. White hole has a black hole, right? An explosion, exothermic event has an endothermic event. Equal and opposite in everything in physics. That's why I like the idea of magnetism being at the heart of everything. It's just a dipole, north and the south. So that would be how I would compare nuclear physics. Now, why are they related? Because when the nuclear scientists were setting off the atomic bomb and hydrogen bomb, these massive energy bombs, they had to have figured out that we're in a fabric, that we're in a sea of energy. They either realized there was more energy coming out of the explosion than what they calculated, or something like that. And then they just classified it. They classified it and they covered it up and they said it is nuclear secrets. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm willing to bet a lot of money on it. Just from my research, got to go back to the Manhattan Project. There's no way that the nuclear scientists and the atomic bomb people didn't figure out 0-point energy. No way. It's a waste of time trying to convince them. Yeah, I'm not trying to convince them, guys. I'm not trying to convince them. I'm just warning them. I'm not trying to convince them. Thank you, Donna, for that. I appreciate it. I'm just warning them. Warning them again and again, guys. And if the people that are like the new haters, they would be wise to go talk to the old haters that gave up, right? The reason why those old haters gave up and just drifted to the wayside is because they got annihilated time and time again by me. Annihilated. Twitter spaces, social media, live streams. And I'm not talking like the kind of hate. I'm talking just like by the facts, by the evidence, by the weight of the evidence over time. So I keep telling people, good luck, man. Private Wonder Woman. Thank you very much, Private Wonder Woman. I appreciate your big donation. Thank you. Leslie Williams. You're Matt Damon and Daniel's guy with the ponytail from the bar in Goodwill Hunting, so I'm here for it. Thank you very much, Leslie. That's super nice of you. Thank you for being here. John B. You need to talk to Jack Cruz about the body electric and ZP, and how cells, mitochondria create electricity and light. There's some crossover. Yeah, there probably is a lot of crossover. Yeah, I might give him a talk, actually. I haven't really been much into the biology side. I never really was big into biology. I just like physics more. Not like, I understand that kind of like, yeah, there's some esoteric aspect to our reality or why we exist. I mean, our soul, or, you know, who we are, why are we in this body, you know? And the mitochondria, I mean, I don't know anything about that. I'm not even going to pretend. But people are saying that, like, the nanotubules, am I saying that right? Might be, I don't know, shaped in a way that they can somehow be quantum kind of interferometers or something. I don't know. Seems like could be possible. Obviously, I have a lot to learn on that front, so maybe I should hit up Jack Cruz. Todd Van Oben. Hi, Ashton. Can you elaborate about the 50K ZP energy devices? Take a look at the last video I did about it. So what other misunderstanding is there? Here's what happened. I think I explained this in the video. If anybody just watches that old video, nobody actually watches any of the stuff. They just pretend to watch it. But I was given a picture and I was told the context was, I thought the context was that was a model of the free energy device, 0-point energy device, magnetic motor that I was going in business for with EtherTech. And it turned out that it was actually just a similar model made by somebody else that was on YouTube, and it wasn't supposed to, the full video wasn't supposed to be on YouTube, but it is, and still is actually now to this point. And so that, and if you watch that, again, you can just go watch the video and see that I said this last time, is that magnetic motor is not the same exact one, but it's the same kind of Haddam configuration as the one that I got built out as a prototype for people to test or whatever. But I have NDAs regarding it, so I can't really say that much about it. And I don't really like having NDAs or anything like that. So I don't know. Didn't really feel like doing it anymore. And the big thing too is like $50,000 for a magnetic motor. Like, that's crazy. It's a crazy amount of money, right? So I got a lot of requests from people being like, hey, I'll pay you like $1,000. Like, a lot of requests. And you're like, how many hours do you guys think it takes and materials you think it takes to make, like, look at how many permanent magnets are on those. Like, people just don't really understand the concept of, like, time is money, especially when people are like legit engineers who build stuff, you know? So at the end of the day, it's like, what's the commercial aspect of building a magnetic motor for a free energy device, especially if it can only produce like maybe enough for a house, if it's a small one, or if it's a big one. And to me, you look at that and you go, okay, not only do I have to build this magnetic motor, possibly maintain it, and even if it doesn't need to be maintained very much, still have to have some kind of maintenance related to it. And then how am I going to set it up to actually power something? You'd be like, well, just plug it into a turn, you know, you can set it up to plug into like basically a surge protector thing, or, you know, an extension thing. But if you do that, you got to turn it off. It's got to actually use the same amount of power that you're generating. You guys understand? Like, if you're generating energy, that energy has to go somewhere. So you have to either use the exact same amount of energy that you're producing, or you have to have some offload mechanism for it, right? So now people are like, wait, oh, there's actually some stuff to this. Or you can hook it up to the grid, right? You can hook it up to the grid. But now what do you do when the energy company wonders like why you're sending back power when you want to get paid by them? These are real issues. They seem trivial, but they're real. So end of the day, it was like, this is all a huge hassle. I don't even really want to sell to people. And I feel bad for like turning down people that like really just want a free energy device and need it, what have you, but they don't have any money for it. And then ultimately it's like, it's all going to change soon anyway, where we're just going to have free energy microchips. So magnetic motors are 100% real. And that device is real. The video shows over Unity on it if you watch the last video. So tonight's thing is about free energy as well. So if you want to learn more about free energy, just stick around and you'll learn how it's possible that a magnetic motor can produce over Unity. But that device worked. And I literally have videos on my phone of a different one, the one that I was talking about, that has a similar configuration, is all I can say because of my NDA, that also have a video of showing over Unity with meters as well. So, I don't know. Believe it, don't believe it. I really just don't care, man. I really don't care. But here's the thing I'll say about it. Anybody that says I scammed somebody, that's libel. That's defamation. Who did I scam? Who exactly did I scam? Find one person that says I scammed them. Find one person that says I took money from them for anything. Please. When I say that some of y'all, the haters, are mentally ill, I mean that literally. Even if I was selling some fantasy voodoo shit, that's still allowed. The world, people are allowed to grift people or whatever it is, right? And yes, you're allowed to shame them as well. But that's not what's happening here. Nobody got anything anyway at the end of the day, so I don't know why it's a big deal. And I didn't back down from it because it didn't work. Just wouldn't seem practical anymore. It wasn't fun. I didn't want to do it. So take it or leave it. Private Wonder Woman, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, one more thing I want to say before we go back to that one. Huge donation. Wow. Thank you very much, Private Wonder Woman. I literally also had, what was it, Medi? Engineer Boom Guy? Oh, no, Electro Boom Guy. Literally offered for him to check it out. All he had to do was sign an NDA, says he's not going to, say exactly how it works or what have you, because there's like schematic stuff related to it or whatever. Dodge wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. What you find out, this is so crazy. It goes to show human psychology. What you find out is that anyone who's in a position where they could be discredited or whatever will not review a free energy device. Because it turns out they're all fakes and they're all frauds and phonies, and they know it too. They don't know how any of this shit works. The Medi Salmanazar guy, whatever, Electro Boom guy, he doesn't know shit about electrical engineering. He doesn't know shit about electricity. He doesn't even know where electricity comes from. He could never understand how a magnetic motor works. That's the reason why he dodged. None of them will. The guys that testified in court for the government, they never tested them either. They were just physicists that were like academics, and they just said, that's not theoretically possible. They weren't even engineers. That's the sad reality of our world. If you don't believe that, well, man, I got to tell you, you're going to be one of those people who's going to have a harsh waking up. It's going to be harsh. Matt. Hey, Matt. Nice to see you, man. It was nice to see you at the Cosmic Summit. Will you request a Black Widow ScarJo clone? Maybe on the dark side, guys. Nah, the truth is, I'm pretty sure I'm being used. I feel like they would have taken me out a long time ago if they didn't want at least some of this stuff out there. And probably, if it makes you feel better, if you don't like my political opinions about war or whatever, if it makes you feel better, they're probably going to take me out when I'm not useful anymore either. So there you go. And again, it's just the dark truth, Just this is a sick game that we're playing here, And this game is for keeps, man. This game is for keeps. Like, you don't come out exposing free energy and teleportation of the U.S. government, stuff they really don't want the public to know about, without there being consequences. Just is what it is. Let's talk some Tom Bearden, guys. Now, first thing we need to understand about free energy is where it comes from. Where is free energy coming from? It has to come from somewhere else, because the most basic thing about physics is conservation. If I make this, where's my plane? Now's the time. If I make this Boeing 777 Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 disappear, it must reappear somewhere else. There must be conservation. So in order for free energy to be possible, thank you very much, Mike M6044, we must have an external energy source. There must be an external energy source. Wow. That is the thing that's been brainwashed out of us. There's an external energy source. Energy is everywhere. That's what Tesla said. Tesla invented three-phase alternating current. It's still the same electricity that we use today. And Tesla said energy is everywhere. Movement is energy. Movement is energy. This is true. Movement is energy. How can I prove that? Well, how do we produce alternating current? We take a copper wire and we rotate it through a magnetic field. Wait, I think I have a thing for this. This is alternator. No. Damn it. 1 second. Maybe I have it. Magnetic. I have so many videos. Magnetic motor. No, I don't have it. Okay, so we rotate the copper coil through a magnetic field, and electricity is formed. The electrons in the copper coils jiggle back and forth. So, from a conceptual viewpoint, you could say that the copper coil going through the magnetic field is churning up the ether. That 0-point energy around is just churning it up. It's out there in a stable state, but the magnetic fields are interacting with it. Boom. Churning up that ether. So the wires actually then, in that viewpoint, the wire, the copper wire, the electrons in the copper wire are acting as a conduit. They're acting as a conduit to access that energy. This actually reminds me of a video that I think will get me copyright striked, but we're going to try it anyway. Veritasium. Do I not have it? Huh. It's weird. Some of these old ones I don't think I recorded correctly. So, because all it is a copper coil moving through an electric field, what's moving it? What's moving it? We can simplify it. We can say it's a time-varying magnetic field. Time-varying magnetic field is producing electricity because the magnetic field is changing from the copper coil moving through it. And so that produces electricity, time-varying magnetic field. But all we're doing is we're turning a crank. We're just turning a crank in a generator. So this movement of our hand is being converted into electricity. Therefore, movement is energy. All movement is energy. That means everything we see moving around, that's energy. Everything out there. Electricity must be everywhere. Everywhere. Let's listen to some Tom Bearden explain it. Which one's the best one? I think this one. Oh, wait. This one. I think this one. We're going to try this one.
Filed, my associates and I should say, have filed a very fundamental patent on the creation in a circuit of longitudinal waves to flow the energy freely, literally in the Tesla fashion, and then use it separately in a load to power a load. And technically, it's still called displacement current. What we have done, we have split the normal current, technically dq dt, into two components, one being displacement current, d phi dt, and one being that mass slippage every once in a while of these precessing electrons down the wire. And what we really have done is used a barrier invented by Bill Fogel to stop the mass flow, which is all the workflow, the rate at which energy is being lost in the circuit. We allow only the flow past Fogel's semiconductor, which is a patented device, patented in '92. And then we use this free energy flow, which does not disperse. Conventional theory already recognizes displacement current as pure energy transport without losses. For example, the way to use it, and I want everybody to know so they can check it, if I then run the displacement current through the primary of its step-up transformer, I produce ordinary garden variety magnetic field and store that free energy in that magnetic field. That couples to the secondary, which then couples to the electrons in that circuit through the load, which are now free to move. I don't restrain them. And I pump the electrons through the load absolutely conventionally and do power in the load. So what I have is absolute conservation of energy, but I do not conserve work loss, the dissipation of the energy. I take the energy in almost freely from the battery or power source. In this case, it would be an oscillator because I'm speaking AC. We can do it DC. I strip off and block the component of the current that's responsible for all losses in the circuit. Then I take the displacement current and I couple it, gather it, and store it in this case magnetic field, couple it to the other side and discharge it through the load completely separately. None of my load discharge current goes back through my source. No degradation is done to the source. And yes, indeed, you can legitimately do over-unity electrical systems, and it's exactly analogous to a heat pump, which is a proven over-unity system that we use in our homes. I just told.
It's exactly analogous to a heat pump. This is why people get upset when you say a heat pump is over unity. Because you would say, well, what's a heat pump doing? If there's more hot air over here, it's not producing hot air. It's taking the hot air from over here and it's moving it over here, and it does so at a low energy cost. But if you were to actually just go do all the math, you would say, wait, it did over unity technically. It technically moved this heat energy from here to over here, but it only took a small amount of electrical energy to do that. Heat pump. That's why people are getting them, because they're electrically very efficient for a heat pump. So what he's saying there is that if you engineer your circuit, maybe take a look at Tesla's circuit designs. I think you can probably find them on the internet somewhere. What is he doing? He must have something that he's doing with the circuit. And even if you don't understand electrical engineering that well, and I still don't understand it that well, you can still understand that what Tom Bearden's explaining there is he's explaining siphoning off the back EMF. Like, you imagine we have our magnetic field and we wave our magnetic field over our wires and we get some energy. Now, imagine if we have our magnetic field like rotating, flipping around, our time-varying magnetic field. He's saying that if we intelligently use the movement of that magnet, we can siphon off, we can prevent the battery from losing energy or make it more efficient at a bare minimum. This is what a lot of engineers have been trying to do in their free energy devices and probably figured out. It's not easy to do, but you can do it. And that's what Tom Bearden is saying here. Why is it possible? Because once again, we have another input. We have another input. So now the challenge is I have one input here. I have the extra input from the ether. Mix it together and then take your overall efficiency. Let's say the total system is only 50% efficient. And then you get your output over here. That needs to be greater than 1. The ratio of the output to the input needs to be greater than 1, and you have free energy. You have over unity. It's not a guarantee because the energy, it's not a system where the energy just comes from nowhere with no, design. It's not that kind of free energy. It's the kind of free energy where you get an input and a second input, and then you divide by the efficiency, and then you determine your output. That's how the real world works. Now, I think I found the real video I wanted to show you with Tom Bearden that helps explain it more conceptually. I think it's this one with the dipole. Yeah.
The generator powered the external circuit. It doesn't. It does not power it at all. All it does is we twist the crank on the generator, the shaft, to turn the shaft, and that forms a magnetic field inside the generator, and that energy in that magnetic field dissipates itself upon the internal charges to force the positive charges in one direction and negative charges in the other to make that dipole, and that's all the generator does. It doesn't add 1 watt to the power line. All the coal, all the oil, all the dams ever built, all the nuclear fuel rods ever consumed, never added 1 single watt to the power line. All they did was keep rebuilding the dipole that we have designed a silly circuit to destroy faster than we can power the loads.
What a genius way to explain it. Okay, what's a dipole? Dipole is a positive and negative charges separated. So you can imagine a battery or a capacitor. Tom Bearden is saying all that's happening is we're creating a dipole. When we spin that generator, we're just creating a dipole, positive and minus separated. So if you can keep the positive and minus separated, free energy will just continue to flow. It'll continue to flow. So he says that all of our circuit designs, the non-Tesla designs, they just assume there's no way to produce free energy. If you assume there's no way to produce free energy, you'll never design a circuit that produces over unity. That's the brainwashing. That's why the brainwashing is so big. People go, well, why don't people just design circuits to produce over unity? Because they don't think it's possible. Because they don't think it's possible. So here's the analogy for you so that you can understand how this would work. How do we keep the dipole open then? How do we keep it open? Well, imagine that the way we produce energy right now, imagine a swing. Actually, I think I have some crystal I can wiggle around. I don't have it in front of me right now, but next time. The way we do energy right now is the equivalent of me pushing on the swing back and forth the whole time. You'd be like, yeah, that works, right? Like, I'm pushing the swing back and forth. It works. It's just really inefficient. Like, why am I working so hard? I don't need to work that hard. All I have to do is push the swing when it comes back to me. Just pulse it, right? Just pulse the swing. If I'm pushing the swing the whole time, that's so stupid. I must use like 10 times more energy if I'm pushing the swing the whole time. But if I wait and just pulse it and wait for the swing to be at its height and then pulse it again, it takes way less energy to do that. That's the concept that Tom Bearden's talking about here. He's saying we can produce energy and actually do so cheaper than it takes to produce it. Like, do people not understand the implication of that? The design implications of that get crazy. That's why people are saying you could have over unities of like 100. Yeah, because you're basically talking about how do you just, and now it's just a matter of how do I amplify this effect? How do I amplify this effect? And now you can have as much energy come out of it as possibly it allows. But this is why it's dangerous too. Because people say this can't be real, because if this was real, we'd be able to produce, you'd be able to design something that can produce basically infinite energy, or as much as the vacuum will allow. The vacuum will allow the space juice to flow out. And I say, yes, guys, yes. That is why we can make a weapon that is a doomsday weapon. That's why we can make a black hole super weapon. Because this is true. Because we can make a device that basically allows almost infinite energy to come out of the vacuum. That is called a doomsday weapon. That is called black hole super weapon. It's called a black hole super weapon because that amount of energy would be so dense that it's going to warp space all around it. It's going to warp light all around it. Tom Bearden is a GOAT, guys. GOAT is greatest of all time. When it comes to understanding electrical engineering, understanding free energy, you need to understand the concepts. It's not good enough for me to just sit here and harp at you and tell you, memorize this, memorize that. That won't get us anywhere. You need to understand, why is it possible? How is it possible? And the basis of that is, where does electricity come from? Where does electricity come from? I wish I had the Veritasium video. I think, I know how I can find it. I probably made a post about it, so if I just Google it. Yeah. Electricity doesn't flow through wires. Oh, so anyway, there's a Veritasium video. And in this Veritasium video, he puts a battery with a switch. And then over here, he puts a light bulb. And he says, okay, imagine wires that go all the way around the earth. And then they connect. and they make a large circuit. And he says, okay, I'm going to switch on the light. If energy is flowing through the wires, then it should take the energy has to go at the speed of light through the wires. So the time it takes for the light bulb to turn on should be the distance of the wires divided by the speed of light, right? If the energy is flowing through the fields, flowing through space, then it would be the speed of light divided by this distance. What happens when they switch on the light? Light turns on almost instantaneously. Why? Because the power is not flowing through the wires. The wires are acting as a conduit. And the fields are what's carrying the energy. And the fields are flowing directly from the battery to the light. At least in the situation of a design where they're that close together. Pretty wild. Pretty wild, guys. Okay, next Bearden video. The ether. Where is this vacuum energy coming from? It's coming from the ether.
Belief of the time was that the vacuum was a thin material fluid, the so-called material ether, which we know today is false. The ether is there, but it's not the observable material fluid. Faraday had re-established this notion of lines of force, but he thought the electromagnetic field or the electromagnetic disturbances in the ether, so to speak, was really twanging strings. The strings were under tension, and when you had a disturbance, what you really did was pluck the strings. Now, Maxwell states very clearly that he set about to actually capture exactly what Faraday was doing in his lines of force in the theory, and that's what he did. Maxwell's actual theory is 20 equations and 20 unknowns in quaternions, which is a higher topology algebra. You can do things in that you can't dream of in doing in tensors, and you certainly can't do in vectors, and you certainly can't do with the theory that's taught at our universities. All that remains to be rediscovered and uncovered.
Interesting. I never fully understood the quaternion idea before. So I guess he's saying that we have to actually look at space-time as a superfluid medium. If we look at space-time as a superfluid medium, then we can use these quaternion equations, and this will help us to understand how we can manipulate reality, how we can bend space-time. That's an interesting view. I like that. And the ether, I didn't hear it in that particular clip. Maybe the other ones will mention it. The ether is not this viscous fluid. The ether is literally the 0-point energy. People say, what is it? It's space-time itself. Space-time itself is made up of 0-point energy. That's what space-time is. That's why when you interact with the 0-point energy, you're manipulating space-time. So how you can pull energy out, it's how you can shrink the distance. It's how you can create a gravity wave using it potentially. It's how you can teleport an object. That's how we have entanglement. Why do people think that entanglement exists? Entanglement exists because of the ether, because of the medium we're in. You couldn't have entanglement in an empty vacuum. That's not possible. How can this be entangled to this if there's no connection? There must be a connection. So what is it? The ether. If you were a fish in the ocean, you wouldn't even think you're in a medium. You don't have context for being outside of the medium. You're always in it all the time. You would jump out of the surface and you would go, I'm in emptiness. I'm in the vacuum. When fish jump out of the ocean, they probably go, hey, I'm in the empty vacuum, everybody. And then they get back into the water and they go, guys, you won't believe where I was. I jumped out and I was in the empty vacuum of space. Like, that's basically us. We're idiots thinking that outer space up there is an empty vacuum, but it's just another medium. It's just another medium. Okay. Do some more Bearden. Bearden's actually like my favorite. So the story of Bearden as well, guys, is they discredited him because he started saying that like the Challenger was shot down and There was like earthquakes were being used from scalar weapons. And that was just before the time where like people realized that stuff was possible. So they used it to discredit him. Now, I'm not saying that stuff really happened. In fact, I think it probably didn't. But, you know, this is what happens when you realize they have super magical technology. When you realize they're doing super evil stuff to hide it, you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe they did do that. In fact, I'm not ruling it out either, because I literally just shared a video that really looks like the Challenger in outer space destroyed yesterday. Like, I mean, either that person worked on gravity with, was it Ang Lee or whatever, or he needs to be hired. It's pretty damn hard to make an exploded spaceship in low Earth orbit with all the parts floating around perfectly in zero gravity. That's impressive, man. That's really impressive, especially in low resolution that looks just like cameras from 2002 or 2003. Impressive work, man. Just saying. So anyway, that's what they did to Tom Bearden. So I probably shouldn't do the same thing to myself, but whatever, man. At this point, guys, I have no F's left to give. No F's left to give. Okay, extracting energy from the vacuum. Here you go. Oh, that's not, okay, that was not going to work. How about this one? Engineering reality. How can we engineer straight up reality? I think this is old Tom Bearden.
Well, let's start off by talking about
yep.
physical reality itself. What do we mean when we use that term? What's implied by it, and where do we start? We can't start with philosophy because the philosophers never solved their own problems. What they did, they formed schools.
I don't want to do this whole thing. Okay, wait, hold on. That was the wrong one. Hold on. I've got a video of him talking about tickling the vacuum. I love it. Bearden. I don't know. We're just going to click through a few of these.
Nature does not insist on conserving energy in 3 dimensions. We do because we have a 3-dimensional mind. We like to think in terms of space because observation itself destroys time and what we look at is spatial. So we like to think the world is made of space, not space-time. However, nature loves to work in 4 dimensions. Her fundamental law is conservation of energy must apply in 4 dimensions. Now, you're not going to beat that one, so never think about that. But there is no law of nature that requires you to come in and say, also it must apply simultaneously in 3 dimensions. If we build some gadget that makes it apply in 3 dimensions, we apply an extra constraint on what nature will give us. Turning that around, we go around building things that insist on having this 3-dimensional exchange of energy. We got to put it in 3 dimensions for whatever we get out and lose some in the middle. So we got a terrible situation all the way. It's called entropic engineering. We always got entropy beating us to death. Never go over unity. Forget it. Lose a lot. We talk about, you know, efficiencies at 30% and so forth for our power systems when we talk about burning the coal and all that stuff. But nature doesn't require you to do that. All you have to do is break a little bit of this 3 symmetry set of chains where you have tied her feet to the floor. Once you break the flow in 3 dimensions, you no longer have to conserve energy in 3 dimensions. The basic conservation of energy is an inflow from 4 dimensions, outflow in 3 dimensions. From the 4th dimension, converted and flowed out into 3. And that one is free. Giant negentropy is free. Nature will start reorganizing a goodly percentage of the whole vacuum for you, spreading at the speed of light, and will continue it as long as you leave the dipole alone.
As long as you leave the dipole alone. He's saying that we look at energy all wrong. If you look at energy from our 3-dimensional reality and you just assume that you must have a direct connection in your circuit from the power to the bulb, then yes, you're never going to be able to produce over unity. How do you produce over unity in a system like this? You can't. Not possible. Because of entropy. Because we're going to lose a little bit of efficiency in this system. There's only one possible way to produce free energy. It must be coming in from a 4th dimension, from an extra dimension. There must be an extra input into this system from an extra dimension. Well, who's been talking about that? Kaluza-Klein, 1919, 1926. Paper got upped, basically. Got improved, got upgraded to Super Saiyan, so to speak. Kaluza-Klein unified electromagnetism and gravity with an extra dimension. The ether, the radiant energy, the 0-point energy. Tom Bearden is saying that it's a 3-dimensional system we can't produce over unity, but that's not how nature works. All energy is coming from the 0-point energy, from the ether, dissipated out into our system, into our reality. That's where energy is coming from. Same as that energy right there behind me. Energy is coming from the ether and eventually goes back to the ether, I presume. Like a giant energy cycle, just like the water cycle on Earth. We use the water up. Is the water gone when I drink the water? Is this water gone when I drink it, chat? Is energy gone when I use it? Of course not. Eventually, I pee that out, flushes down a toilet, probably goes up and accumulates in the air, especially on a hot day, and then it rains back down. The water cycle. We live in a giant energy cycle. And so if you engineer your system to incorporate that, you can have a huge neg entropy, an extra input into your system. And then now after that, it's just however good of an engineer you are, sky's the limit on your coefficient of performance. People gave up on magnetic motors because it's just not practical. It's just not practical. What people have been working on is cold fusion. They've been working on plasmoids. They've been working on lattice-confined fusion, various forms of Pons and Fleischmann, which I don't think are ever going to really get there. Plasma. Once you realize that space isn't empty, the first thing you realize, I can make a miniature sun. I can make a miniature sun. That's the first thing. You go, oh shit, space is not empty. Then there's no reason why I can't produce this little plasma stable object that's pulling energy out of the vacuum. And I want to say rest in peace to all my Iranian, Russian, Chinese, North Korean followers. I love you guys just as much as the rest. It's not personal at all. But the CIA is evil. What do you want me to say, man? What do you want me to say? I feel bad for you guys. I really do. I hope in the future we can move past all the violence and destruction and, get to the world that we all really want to live in. So here's more Tom Bearden. I think this is the same. Let me listen to this. Hold on.
Nature does not insist.
Oh wait, that was not the one. That was the one I just did. My bad. Okay. This one?
Built at our universities, in our national labs and everything. And
sorry, these aren't very well named. I have too many Beardens. It's too much of a goat, chat. Okay, here. This is him explaining quantum.
A new kind of electromagnetics, a third kind, and I have dubbed that scalar electromagnetics. In quantum mechanics, when the electric field and the magnetic field reduce to zero in an area, you still may have the potentials. And if these potentials, which are the real things going on, interfere with each other, you can have real effects still produced in charged particle systems, real physical systems. In 1959, a classic paper by Aronoff and Bohm in Physical Review pointed this out very strongly. And since then, part of that has come to be called the Bohm-Aronoff effect, or sometimes the Aronoff-Bohm effect.
The Aronoff-Bohm effect. I added it, JK Philly fan, to the Tim Pool thing that I sent to Dr. Yu earlier today. Aronoff-Bohm effect. It says, wait a minute. I looked at those Maxwell equations that were reduced to 4, and it says that there should be no effect if I have like a solenoid that has all the fields are contained within my solenoid, my tube. So if I have this tube, all the electromagnetic fields are contained within it, and I shoot an electron past it, there should be no effect, right? Because I'm in an empty vacuum. Nothing's technically affecting it. Uh-oh. When we do the experiment, we see a phase shift. How can that be, though? How can that be if there's no electromagnetic fields there? It's just potentials. Potentials are impacting it. But what's a potential? What's a potential? Well, I would say that you have basically created a ripple in the ether. You've created a ripple in the ether that doesn't care that you've confined it in your three-dimensional space, because it's not confined in four-dimensional space. This is the same idea as why quantum tunneling works. Why does quantum tunneling work? Why, if I put up a barrier, can an electron tunnel right through the wall? Why? Because nature doesn't care about our three-dimensional reality. Nature is working in four dimensions. This wall is not really here in four dimensions. Or if it is there, some part of the wave function can get past it. So the Ehrenhoff-Bohm effect and the Lamb shift. Lamb won the Nobel Prize. These things prove we are in a sea of energy. No question, no doubt. We must be in a sea of energy. It's not possible for there to be a phase shift when there's no electromagnetic field unless we're in some kind of medium. Everybody can understand that. It's a very simple to understand concept. The Casimir effect, two uncharged plates, just neutral plates. They have no reason to come together. The only reason why things should come together if there's charges that would pull them together, right? A positive and a negative. But if we just put them close together, they automatically come together all on their own. That, again, can only happen if you're in a medium. And we know that medium must be electromagnetic in nature. Heisenberg uncertainty principle as well. You're right. You're right. But why is there a Heisenberg uncertainty principle? If we live in a real physical reality, there shouldn't be a Heisenberg uncertainty principle. But yes, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle is what led to our understanding of this non-physical nature of reality. Everything is a wave. And at the end of the day, we need to think about things in terms of coherence and decoherence. Is it phased in our reality or not? That's really what the double slit experiment tells us. Where something isn't as definitive as we think. It's more of a matter of our perception of that reality.
If we can make this effect exist in the big world, they think it exists only in the micro world. We can get action at a distance. That's no longer a dirty word. I'm going to show you how to change the mass and inertia of an object, affect its rate of flow through time, affect the gravitational field, and so forth. You do this by making a zero system. You oppose the vectors so that they sum to zero, but they are still there in the substructure. With this simple mechanism, with few coils and transistors and so forth, by making deliberate zeros, we can deliberately engineer the Schrodinger equation, and we can deliberately affect the probabilities of quantum mechanics. The hidden variable theory now becomes directly engineerable.
Yes. God, that was so big. You guys don't even know. Oh my God. That's how we directly engineer the Schrodinger equation. Okay, scalar physics. Very simple concept. Electromagnetism, the equations, Maxwell's equations would say, okay, if I have two waves, if I overlap them, they're going to cancel each other out. Same reason why this rubber band doesn't go left or right when I pull on both sides. Pulling on both sides is not going anywhere, right? So there's nothing there. The forces are canceling out. There's nothing there. Is that true? If I pull twice as hard, is there still nothing there? It's starting to get pretty tight. I pull a little bit harder, and this rubber band's about to break. So just because I pull equally on both sides doesn't mean there's nothing there. We agree on that. There's stress. There's a stress in the medium of the rubber band. That is still something. It might not be necessarily a large thing to calculate, maybe hard to understand, but it's there. That's the same exact concept as taking one electromagnetic wave going this way and the exact opposite electromagnetic wave that perfectly overlap. 180 degrees out of phase. They overlap and then they cancel each other out. They cancel each other out. You would say, well, there's nothing there then. Electromagnetic theory would say there's nothing there. You created a scalar wave, but a scalar is just a magnitude. Yes, it's a magnitude that we're creating in the medium of the ether. The medium of our space-time. You are doing something. If you take two out of phase, perfectly powerful electromagnetic waves, you are doing something. When you overlap them and cancel them out, you are doing something. And if you take two of those beams, those scalar beams that are invisible, no electromagnetic wave, and you shoot those invisible beams and intersect them, you will get energy at a distance. You will get interference to occur. So those beams that were nothing will become something again. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Scalar beam. And all it takes to do that, they can make that phase cancellation with a crystal. They can shoot a laser through a crystal and it'll do that automatically. They've been able to do that since like the 70s or 80s. So you can see how this idea of scalar physics, this idea of, well, when we cancel out our electromagnetic wave, there's nothing there, just like with the Aharonov-Bohm effect. When you cancel out your electromagnetic wave, you say, well, according to Maxwell's equation, there's nothing there. Wrong. Aharonov-Bohm effect proves there is something there. And if we can control those potentials that we're creating potentials now, just like with the Aharonov-Bohm effect. If we can control that, we can engineer physical reality. We can engineer the Schrodinger equation. We can manipulate quantum mechanics. We can manipulate quantum mechanics by engineering the Schrodinger equation, by manipulating scalar potentials in the medium. Okay, what's the next step? The next step is Bose-Einstein condensates. You use frequency, scalar potentials to manipulate the medium to create shapes in the medium. You're literally engineering reality at that point. There you go.
What had been statistical before now becomes at least partly deterministic.
What was statistical before now becomes at least partially deterministic. What was statistical before? The wave function of the double slit experiment. Now, why is it deterministic? We can actually figure out where the particle really is. If you want to think about in terms of particle physics, you would say the wave function says we don't know where the particle's at. We can figure out where it's at. You're like, wait, how does that make sense? Because it can be anywhere. Exactly. It can be anywhere. We can figure out where it's at, put it wherever we want. That's the basis for macroscopic quantum tunneling. Macroscopic teleportation. Once we've figured out how we put it wherever we want, then we just have to encase it in a bubble. Make the universe think it's an electron. So once we've figured out how to put an electron from one location to the next, move it wherever we want by manipulating a Schrodinger equation through scalar physics, through quantum mechanics, then all we have to do is scale it up. Scale it up to any size we want, and we can manipulate the Schrodinger equation for it. So they've probably understood how to teleport something since at least the 70s or 80s, since at least they understood scalar physics. When did they actually engineer how to do it in real life? Harder to say. Probably in the 2000s, maybe in the 90s. They probably knew about it before then, but to actually produce something that can do it is a different story. Here's Tom. That one's. Let's listen to this one. Oh, here it is. Here's the unification theory. I think this is it.
And by the name of Kaluza published a paper where he had successfully united electrical field and gravitational field in a common unified theory. To do that, he had to add another physical dimension, and a very strange thing emerged. There's really only one field in nature if you're looking at that hyperspace. It is the 5-dimensional gravitational field, and it intersects our world in two things. One thing we call the electromagnetic field, and the other thing we call the gravitational field in the general sense, general relativity, the ability to curve and warp and twist space-time itself. So we added one more space dimension, which we do not see. Klein, a few years later, explained what happened to that dimension. It's really rolled up around every little point in our space.
We add another dimension that we don't see. It's technically rolled up in every point in our space. We can't see the dimension, but it's there. Just like with this book. We live on the surface of this book, but all this exists. We just can't see it. This is exactly how the ether works. This ether is here. We just don't see it, but we can do this. We can create a shortcut between those 2 points, because once we know this ether exists, let me go full screen. Once we know this ether exists here, we can engineer it. How? The Schrodinger equation, what I just told you. How do we know where the particle is in this? That's what Tom Bearden just said. Tom Bearden said, with scalar physics, we can engineer the location of the particle. We can see where the particle is going to be and determine where it's going to go. We're working on stuff. That's not official yet, whatever that is. So this is just something that we've been rolling around. A buddy of mine. Shout out to him, though. It is pretty good, but we got a lot of stuff we got to work on and change because there was a lot of new updates. But it's pretty spicy. Okay, you guys got me sidetracked. Back to Bearden. Here we go.
Quite nice mathematically, and it's real, by the way. But the theory languished for many years until really about the early to mid-70s, when the new symmetries in the forefront of physics and particle physics began to see that with that type of geometry, you could get in all these weird particles and you could get in all the forces. You really could begin to approach a unified theory of all forces of nature, and the physicists became very excited. But with that thing and supergravity, you can get in all of the particles and everything we know into physics in a single unified theory. The plane represents our ordinary world. The hand represents an extra dimension, so it's that 5th dimensional geometry that Kaluza came up with. And
look at that image right there. Perfect, right? And here's the thing too, now that we understand that we are on this flat surface, but there's this extra dimension that we don't see. Well, where's the energy coming from? The energy's coming from this extra dimension we don't see. This is where electricity is coming from, guys. We think the energy is flowing through the wires on the surface of this this book. The energy is coming from this. Therefore, it's coming from all around us, everywhere. Doesn't this just, like, this is the answer. This is where energy comes from. This is where electricity comes from. I mean, This is why we have entanglement. This is how we can teleport something. Einstein himself would agree with me. Why? Because he's the guy that invented the Einstein-Rosen bridge. This is an Einstein-Rosen bridge. Einstein predicted gravity waves. This is a gravity wave. This is a gravity wave, chat. Space-time bending. Einstein was the guy that said space-time is a thing. Einstein is the guy that predicted gravity waves that we only publicly detected in 2015. 2015 is when we first realized this is real from a public perspective. Technically, people knew about it for decades. But this is the answer. Unification has been figured out since 1921, 1926. People throw out different times. 1919, 1921, 1926, whatever it is. Anybody else figuring it out now in 2025? You got to go study your history. Go study your history. Now, if we need more elaborate explanations, great. This is good enough for me. I'm a normal guy. I do healthcare IT. This is a good enough explanation for me. I don't need a bunch of quaternion math or like matrices with 50 numbers on it so that we can, figure out all the vectors and what have you. Look, I get it. Boom. Ether. Gotcha. I'm with you. I'm with you. We're in a sea of energy. We extract that energy. We can make a wormhole, warp drive, whatever we want to do. Simple.
1921. The hand itself represents that fifth dimensional gravitational field, which intersects our world in two fashions. One electromagnetic, shown by the forefinger extended, that intersection, and the other by the thumb, which is our gravitational field, as we see it in the little intersections. And both of the intersections, by the way, at the same point. They are not spatially separated. But notice what we do if we deliberately zero the electromagnetic intersection, which is what we're doing when we make the zero. But we control what goes into the zero. We can put energy in there, or we can take the energy out.
Wow. This is a great clip. I should have shown this clip way more. So what is he saying there? Okay, if I make a scalar, if I make my cancellation beam, then what am I doing? Again, it's a scalar is just a magnitude. So there's no vector for it. It's not going in any direction. Where is it going? Into the ether. It's going into the ether. When you're making a scalar wave, you're making a scalar beam of energy going into the ether. Instead, if you do this, you can put energy in there or you can pull energy out. Now we're talking about entanglement. So what are they orbs doing MH370? They're putting the energy into the ether, and they're going to pull that energy out. I really don't want to be on that plane.
When we do that, it's coming in and out of the thumb as gravitational energy, and directly as curvature of space-time. I can provide the direct conversion of electromagnetic energy into gravitational field energy, or vice versa. Now, if you want to do anti-gravity, gentlemen, there it is. We can warp, engineer, and twist space-time at will, as we wish, in whatever pattern we wish.
I mean, booyah. What does it look like to manipulate space-time? What would a gravity wave even look like to us? I mean, oh, here it is. Yep, there it is right there. Well, that's what it looks like. We always wanted to know, okay, well, what would that look like? Well, there it is. It's pretty haunting, man. It's pretty haunting. That plane literally just vanishes out of the sky, and it looks like it was never even there. Looks like it was never even there. That's what it looks like. There you go. You want it from another angle? There you go. Second angle. Literally, the clouds are barely even impacted. The only thing we get is a little flash of light. Little flash of X-ray, gamma, or ultraviolet light. Something beyond the optical spectrum. A non-radiative, non-heat, not hot emission of light. That's all we get. And the plane's just gone. Looks like it went through a mirror. It looks like there's a secret mirror there and it just disappeared. Why does it look like that? It looks like that because we're manipulating space-time. We're creating a scalar potential that's sucking that plane somewhere else. This is only possible if there's an ether. If there's an extra dimension of energy. Why? Because that plane disappearing here at the end, that is definitely not using this huge amount of energy that everybody says we need for a wormhole. The amount of energy released right there looks like a little blip. It's like nothing. It's like no energy is being released, and that plane's just gone. That tiny little flash of light, that was like a little firecracker. So that right there proves free energy is real. That proves what Tom Bearden was saying. And this also proves the videos are real too from a scientific perspective, because this is what Tom Bearden is saying, is that we can tickle the vacuum with this little bit of input, and we can get these huge effects out of it. He's saying we can create an over unity system easily by interacting with this energy. And that's exactly what they did to the plane. They interacted with the energy in a way where they just blipped it somewhere else. Blipped it somewhere else. I don't know about you guys. That is horrifying to me. Straight up horrifying. People are like, Ashton, why are you so disaffected? Why are you a warmonger? Chat, I don't care about anything, man. Like, the world is a giant lie. Everything is bullshit. If you're not looking through things through the lens of they've got free energy technology and teleportation technology, then I'm sorry, you're just not seeing the world in the right light. President Trump completely wiped out Iran in like 48 hours and is doing like victory laps about it, like dunking on them on social media. And Russia and China did nothing. Nothing. We're not even talking about it anymore. People were fear-mongering over war, ground war with Iran for like 2 weeks. It's just gone out of the news immediately. And you think you're being told the truth? Doesn't it seem a little weird to you that just a few days ago you were sure we were about to enter nuclear oblivion with Iran and we just wiped them out? No questions asked. Nobody said anything. They're just going to do whatever we want now. People are like, they're mad at my takes. I'm going, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I'm just telling you guys, the world is a horrible place, man. The world is a horrible place. And the reality is I'm probably not going to be the one to really make the significant change that I wish I could. Where's my tickling? Oh, I think I know where it is. Oh, I have multiple. Here we go. Suppression.
Historically, as far back as you want to go, we have had cartels. Any time we have a very powerful cartel or set of people that control a lot of things, that resists any means of changing its inflow of control and its inflow of funds and money and its power. You know, everybody's trying to be the big monkey. It's really as simple as that. And so the more powerful the agency, the more powerful the group, the more powerful the cartel, the more they will resort not only to legal means, but to extra legal means to suppress their competition.
I mean, bros, they assassinated 9 Iranian nuclear physicists with a super secret weapon simultaneously while they were sleeping at night. What did Tom Bearden just say right here? There are cartels and they will go to extrajudicial means. They don't give a crap about what the public thinks about Iran. So let me help you out. Maybe this will make some of you feel better. Yeah, the Mossad, the CIA, are they evil? Yeah, of course they are. I mean, they're just indiscriminately killing basically innocent scientists. I mean, how can you blame the scientists for this? But they're doing it. Why? Because they don't want those people to be anywhere near free energy. Anywhere near free energy. You guys think they're working on nukes? Nukes? Come on, man. We want them to make a nuke. A nuke is a liability. We're tracking them everywhere they go. What are they going to do with their nuke? You think they're going to hide their nuke from us? The moment they try to do anything with that nuke, it's going to explode and wipe them all out. We're going to hit it with a directed energy weapon that goes straight through the ether, straight through the ground. Nope. We just live in a sick world, and I'm just very glad and appreciative to be an American citizen because there's no way in hell that I'd be able to do this if I wasn't.
You know, this is openly known today. For example, the greatest espionage in the world is industrial espionage between one corporation and another right here in America. They're the ones that hire all the spies and the spooky equipment and everything like that, by far more than the intel agents do. So that's one thing we have. We have the giant industrial, or really cartel, economic cartels in energy. And it's not one cartel. So there are many, many groups in energy, and each of those has become very powerful in its own area, and each one does not wish to see simple little electrical taps pulling out enormous energy from the vacuum.
Look, man, the cartels, the defense contractors, the energy companies, like, they know the stuff is real. They have no incentive to have people have just free energy taps like water fountains. They have no incentive for that. They're making, the energy companies are some of the highest value companies in the world. The oil companies are like some of the top ones. The defense contractors are up there too. And some of them are privately held as well. The amount of factors that are blocking free energy, people think like, how could they have hid this? Look at the economic incentive to hide it. Like, we have just created this crusted system where there was no way to get the truth out anymore. The suppression was too successful. Now listen to some of the like scary stuff they do. And for the person who was asking me earlier about the magnetic motor thing, imagine what I was thinking when I'm watching this clip.
They would much rather see you burning a lot more oil and so forth. So yes, there's in my view, there is a very active suppression effort by those kinds of folks. Part of that goes into very unique areas. They don't do it so much. It's not totally mafia type stuff. It's not like, you know, you just flat get shot. There's some of that. But
there's some of that.
One of the main ways of suppressing it is they take a deep psychological profile of an individual that they wish to suppress. What it means is they really wish to get him entangled in all kinds of difficulties he can't get out of. Now, a good trait from a human being standpoint may be a very valuable trait to somebody who wishes to manipulate you. For example, suppose you're easy to approach. That's a vulnerability. That's a serious vulnerability. So one's deep psychological profile is examined in great depth by real experts. And any way that you can be gotten to where you're naive, you don't have, who knows international finance? You can be had on a money laundering scheme easily and not even recognize that's what you're in. So any way that you do not have good knowledge, or you do not have ability, or you have a vulnerability, they call them vulnerabilities, then they arrange scenarios just like you would write a movie.
Holy shit. This is the scariest shit I've ever heard, because it's definitely 100% true. Deep psychological profile on you, find out everything about you. That's what the, whatchamacallit, Palantir people are doing, right? That's what Palantir is doing. So Palantir is just collecting all information about you, tracking you everywhere you go, and they don't even know who you are. They don't need to until the CIA comes to them and tells them, hey, go find out who ATF 1234 is. And it turns out that's Ashton Forbes. And now they have on demand psychological profile. They know everything about me. They can have weird psychology experts review it and be like, hey, he really likes dogs. Maybe we should hit him with some stuff about dogs or something like that. Right. And then they also they'll abuse the fact that you're easy to approach. Oh, he's easy to approach. So we'll have somebody reach out to him like a friend, like Kim.com. We'll have somebody reach out to him as if they're a friend because he's trustworthy. And we'll have somebody who's like clout come reach out to him, right? And then we'll pull the old, no, this has been debunked. Ignore it. I'm the big person that came in with clout. Those are the kinds of plays that they do. In fact, that's part of the reason why I'm pretty sure that Kim.com is a U.S. intelligence asset. The only reason, why would he even talk to me? It's so weird. In retrospect, it's obvious that they just were like, hey, we've got you. They probably just called Kim.com and said, hey, you're going to go to prison, get extradited for 181 years if you want to make that go away, go like, latch onto this kid, scam him, and, or this guy, I'm not a kid, scam him, and then tell the world that the videos are debunked, right? And that's what he did. And so what did Kim get in response? He got a stroke. Best of luck. Best of luck, Kim.com. And then they put you in difficulties that put you in a hard way to get out of, right? They put you in situations that are hard to get out of. Now, I'm not going to lie, the whole magnetic motor thing started making me think about this as well. Once I started seeing the attacks and once I started realizing like all the difficulties that go involved with like actually commercializing a magnetic motor, I realized this could be one of those things that they try to get you stuck in, because then you're going to find out that, oh, it was being financed by, some sketchy person, or they hit you with some kind of lawsuit about some, whatever, right? This is what they're doing. They're not just taking people out, although they can do that if they want, as Tom Bearden said. It's a lot scarier than that. It's a lot scarier than that. Is that, and at this point in this day and age, they've got YouTubers on demand. The YouTubers are so stupid, they don't even know they're being used, right? They just have an asset reach out to the YouTuber who's a friend of the YouTuber or something like that, and then just tell them what to think, tell them what to do. Hey, wouldn't it be a good idea if you made a video dunking on this person or that person? In some cases, it can just be anonymous tips and people that they get content from. And so that's really what they have to do, because forensics are too good. Forensics are too good. Now, the hard part for them when it comes to me is I grew up in this shit. You merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it, raised by it, molded by it. You think the darkness is your ally? No. I am the darkness. I am the darkness. No, I grew up in all this shit. You think you can out-troll me? Not in a million years. Not in a million years. If you thought you were going to like psychologically wear me down or some shit like that, you haven't even scratched the surface. Haven't even scratched the surface of it. In fact, I'm going to get pleasure out of gaslighting you in the future, to be honest. Reverse the game on them. Okay, a little more Tom Bearden, and then we're going to call it tonight.
In fact, they do it with computers, all computerized. And in this scenario, we write a play where this particular vulnerability is going to be exploited in the target. Now, they keep deep psychological profiles on lots of useful fellows. These are people who basically have knee-jerk reactions or something, or they're radical, or they have some kind of way they interact, which, if could be connected with you, would be in the area we wish the interaction to occur, to get you off into something else totally different from what you're doing. So the next thing you know, here, all it takes to set that up may be a phone call and stimulate the interaction to occur. And then the controllers sit back and watch the game go. It's gaming. But it's just like watching a movie scenario. One of these days, we'll probably write a book on gaming and how it's done and what kind of the main games they can use.
That is wild. That is exactly what they're doing on MH370. People are wondering, like, hey, why, like, how are they doing this weird thing? Why is there a fire? Why is there a fire and then the orbs? That's what people ask me a lot. Like, I thought you said it was a fire. I thought you said it was the orbs. Which is it? It's both. They set up a whole movie plot for how this whole thing was going to play out. They probably had contingency plans. That's what the CIA does. That's what Mossad does. When Mossad took out all those people simultaneously, they had a whole playbook ready to go. You think they're just coming up with ideas, just like, hey, okay, guys, time to go do this thing. Let's just go do it. No, they're planning all of this. The tools at their disposal would terrify you. And the moment I saw they have magical orbs that can teleport planes, we're not dealing with the paradigm that we used to be living in anymore. We're now dealing with a paradigm in which the military-industrial complex has essentially achieved breakaway civilization level status. Shout out to Richard Dolan for making that terminology up. That's what they are. It's breakaway civilization level. That's the reason why Trump can say we have stuff nobody understands. We're super far ahead of them and just go steamroll a major country in 48 hours. Just steamroll them. Like, we're not on the level of these other countries. And I don't mean that in a supremacist way. I mean that in just a, damn, that's how the world works? Shit, okay. Better adjust my view kind of situation. So they're doing these operations. And I have another clip of one. Here's a Mossad whistleblower explaining it.
How did you convince Hezbollah buy this?
Well, obviously, they didn't know that they were buying it from Israel.
Who did they buy it from, or think they were buying it from?
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel, shell companies over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
If that doesn't terrify you, like, it should. It should. That's 100% real. That's exactly what they're doing. Saying, we're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage. We do whatever we want to do. We want to just take out all of Iran's leadership, all of their scientists. We just do it. We don't ask for permission. They just do it. That is scary, man. There's no law that's stopping that. That's above the law. That's extrajudicial executions of people. That's the world we've been living in for a long time. We've just been totally blinded to it. So if you get upset at my political opinions are to wake people up. The people we need to wake up first are Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll. I think the Hodge twins are on board. At least their producers are. Major influencers need to wake up to this reality. They're still living in an old paradigm where we're going to have boots on the ground in Iran. Guys, no one's doing that. No one's doing that. We have magical Star Trek technology. Okay? This ain't the 90s anymore. And they don't care what the public thinks. They will determine the public's opinion through psychological operations like what Tom Bearden is explaining here. They control literal companies. So when we see whole websites appear out of nowhere, they're like, hey, here, I was a senior rocket engineer at Mitsubishi, and here's some photos that match this debris of MH370. This can't be from MH370, sorry. Just like whole websites appear out of nowhere with like no engagement on them. It's probably just the CIA. It's probably just the CIA.
But I can tell you they're very effective. You can get so many different games from so many different walks of life by so many charming folks who are really oily characters that you would not believe it. And those come at you en masse. And usually they bury you. They bury you off in the courts. They bury you off. They get you tricked into doing an illegal act. How would they do that if you wouldn't violate the law? Real simple. How can you be made to violate the law when you're not a criminal? Simple. Let me give you a for instance. Fellow comes in and he says, you know, we really need to get some real major financing. Every inventor's poor. Everybody's struggling. Nobody's got the money to build all these buildups, which may cost $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a piece. So everybody's struggling for money. So he comes in and we're going to raise this. We're going to form a stock company. We're going to do all these good things. Unbeknownst to you, he goes off to the Securities Exchange Commission and several other people, Treasury Department, and he says, hey, I think I have fallen in with a den of thieves. Of course, he's the CEO now, understand? Of course, he's the guy who knows all this stuff. And I'll tell you what I'll do. If you'll give me immunity to prosecution, I'll help you catch these crooks because they're going to do the greatest money laundering thing you ever heard of. It's going to come right out of one of these foreign countries, going to be scrubbed and come in here to fund this effort.
So, long story short, this is what they did with, I think his name was Robert Park. I think he was a physicist out of University of Maryland. Total scumbag. They basically just used him to discredit free energy device people. to just say it didn't work. They would use lawfare if they could. So what they would do, they would find something else about their past. Like look at Bob Lazar, for example. They go, oh, he had a, cat house or something like that. They're like, oh, they'll use that against him or some legal issues he's had in his past. That's what they do. And that's the same thing they did with some of the free energy device guy. I think the one guy whose name was like Bob Lee or something like that. He did a 48 state tour with his like magnetic motor. People say, why don't you just show people? This guy did a 48 state tour, had press, people there all the time. You could see the device working. He'd explained it to people. They ended up getting him on some fraud related to something else. And they had these people testify as like expert physicists to say that he was like scamming people with this like energy cell that improved the efficiency of the car or something like that. It's crazy. That's what they did. This is what they did. So when people are like, hey, how'd they hide this stuff? How'd they hide the free energy or whatever? I'm like, easily. Turned out easily. They destroyed a lot of people's lives. They destroyed a lot of people's lives, and it was really, really easy to do. And they're still doing it. I think some of them have guilty consciences because, like, they're horrible, horrible people who have done stuff that there's just no washing the blood off their hands, right? And some of them know they've done all this horrible stuff, and they don't want to go to prison for the rest of their lives. They know that the public will crucify them for what they've done. They know it. They know it, man. There's no forgiveness when you are, like, pervasively brainwashing all of humanity and hiding teleportation and free energy. When the public finds out about that, there's no forgiveness. Like I said before, just like when the people were attacking me, there's no forgiveness. There's no happy ending to this story, guys. The ending of this story, if it goes the way we want it to go, is a lot of people being executed for crimes against humanity. A lot of people. Right? And it's probably not going to go that well, but at bare minimum, I'm going to psychologically destroy everybody who was coming after us. Everybody who couldn't tell those videos were real, that felt this weird urge to try to, like, get some kind of sick pleasure in attacking me, that's coming back at you. So at a bare minimum, I'm going to psychologically destroy the debunkers, as we would refer to them. If things go better than that, then hopefully we'll get some guillotines for some of these politicians, people in the know who've been knowingly hiding this technology for decades. Decades and decades. People that are high on my list of suspects are people like Chuck Schumer, Marco Rubio, Senator Rounds, people that I've just seen with my own eyes, that they're on email chains that explain this technology, explain what happened to MH370. That's good enough for me personally. But I understand the public would want more stuff that ties them to that. Trust me, there's a lot more names. And if we're talking about military people, then Admiral William McRaven, who was the SOCOM commander, who was like killing people's whole families and then giving them a goat or a cow or whatever the hell he did. Yeah, he was in charge when MH370 disappeared. Pretty good bet. He was either involved or he definitely knows exactly what happened. Or General Joseph Votel, who's now at Sierra Nevada Corporation out of all places. He was the JSOC commander when that happened. He almost certainly had to be involved in the planning of that operation. And even if he's not, he knows beyond any shadow of a doubt that it's real. So when people come at me, how much verifiable evidence do you need? Go ask William McRaven. Ask Admiral William McRaven or General Joseph Votel if he thinks the videos are fake. You won't, because you're a fucking pussy. None of you will. Everybody's a coward. Not everybody. You guys are cool. Some of you guys actually will probably ask. But you get what I mean. None of the people that are out there that should be doing this will do it. And the reason is all the media you consume on TV is fake. It's all fake. It's all scripted for you to consume ahead of time. Everything. That's why nobody watches TV anymore that has more than 2 brain cells. Because they realize it's just fake shit. You're basically just being brainwashed and willfully all the time. And on that note, we're going to end it out. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Thank you guys for enjoying the live streams. We will not have a live stream on Friday because I will be on Tim Pool with Dr. Yu on Friday morning. I've got the day off. I want to be out there keeping it real. Make sure you check it out. I think it's at 9 a.m. Eastern, maybe 10 a.m. Eastern, something like that. It's no longer with the previous thing, so technically it's not Russian money anymore, so maybe they won't delete it. Whatever. If you thought that I've triggered people now, imagine how many people I'm going to trigger when there's like 40,000 people watching live. It's going to be a good one. 100% guaranteed. Next live stream will probably be on Saturday. We'll probably do a retrospective when I get back on Saturday. If not, though, Monday. Thank you, guys. MH370. Oh, let me do some of these donos. I forgot. Crap. Forgot all these donos, chat. Okay. Thank you very much for Patriot X Pants. It's not going to get disproven, guys. Guys, like, I've known the videos are real for well over a year at this point. Okay. I've known the videos, like, no question, no doubt, are real. There's no way they can get disproven. I encourage people to try to disprove them. But once again, there's only one way to disprove the videos. Find the hoaxer. They don't exist, man. They don't exist. Deal with it. Think about it. Why can't you find the hoaxer? Why is the hoaxer not come forward after 2 years and billions of impressions? That they're living under a rock? They don't have access to the internet? Didn't they make 2 hoax videos to trick the internet, but they're oblivious to what's going on related to the hoax videos they made? There is no hoaxer of the videos. All these debunk things you guys are doing, it's mental illness. You're just making shit up in your head because you don't want to believe the clear reality in front of you. That's the truth. It's not nice. It doesn't make you feel good. It's just the truth. I'm telling you that because, again, I'm telling you, I've known the videos are real. Your opinion on them doesn't matter. The same way your opinion on gravity doesn't matter. Gravity is real regardless of whether or not you believe in it. The effects of it are still the same. There we go. That's my last harsh reality for tonight. Thank you, Paul, for that donation. Thank you, War Ranch. You're on fire. Matt Bartleson. I did actually, so the thing about the scanning is gravity waves should be able to penetrate any surface. So theoretically, they can map all of that. They probably already know the answer if there is something underneath the pyramids. That's why I don't put too much attention into it, because people already know, and the public technology probably can't find out right now. The private technology just already knows. Japanese man, just like Frieza and Dragon Ball Z, yes, we can do it. Yes, we can, baby. Viking says, does this mean that breaking the Schrodinger limit is out, no longer required to teleport? Oh, the Schwinger limit, you mean? The Schwinger limit. No, the Schwinger limit's still in play, 100%. The Schwinger limit may be the thing that is like the unifier. I don't even really know. Breaking the Schwinger limit allows those virtual photons to come into our reality. So you would say that if you're able to break the Schwinger limit, you're essentially allowing that neg entropy to come in, at least conceptually. D-Red Max, David Icke woke me up in the 90s. Thank you. You've been giving me hope. Your work has made my life better, so thank you, brother. And by the way, Professor Dave is a poo particle, not a wave. Yeah, I hope I don't become as bitter as David Icke. David Icke has become quite bitter, but I'm already on fast track towards that, so we'll see. Chaotic Good, thank you very much for your donation. I hope you're doing well. Mike M, how old is that Bearden clip? That Bearden clip is from the 2000s, or actually it was right before he died. I think it was around 2011. Something around that, I want to say. Do I have his death right? I think that's right. But yeah, he's really old in that. I can't find the source of that right now, but you go back to my old live streams, you should be able to find it. We did a full live stream review of it a while back. Sophia, I'm proud you're coming around about Candace, not just political, but forget her association with entertainment, along with her husband. It's all of them, though. Glenn Beck, etc. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk to anybody. We have to wake up a lot of people. Anybody willing to be woken up, I'm going to talk to them. I don't care what their political affiliations are. I don't care what they believe in. Zapparoo. Fantastic work, Ashton. 100% correct. Everyone needs to wake up. Thank you. Yes. So we got to do whatever it takes to wake people up, guys. I don't care if it's nice. I don't care if it makes people feel good. Just whatever it takes to break people out of this spell, make them realize that there is more to this universe than what we've been told. How does Ian Carroll get blasted to stardom and not Ashton Forbes? Well, it's different. It's not. I don't think it's actually nefarious at all. Thank you for that donation. It's just that he talks about stuff that's, you know, if you talk about Israel-Palestine, it's a polarizing topic and it's got a lot of attention. So if you want to rise up the ranks, you should pick a side on that, and then you should be very vocal about it. No matter what side you're on, half the people will hate you, half the people will love you. They'll all follow your content. When you talk about physics and science, a lot of people aren't interested in that. They can't understand it. They don't care. So it's not, I don't think it's anything nefarious. Even though you should be careful of, you know, online media, because they are, of course, trying to get their tendrils in the social media platformer people as well. But truth be told, I've met Ian before. I've met Candace before. They seem like genuine people. So that's just my opinion. Anyway, guys, we're going to take it. We're going to quit there on that. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night. I appreciate you. I'm going to play you out with our Sibbers video just because, I don't know, I like it. Peace, guys.
Infrared eyes, scanning the black, tracking the heat, never turning back. Control 22, a covert gaze. Control 33, in the cosmic maze. Controls in the mix, secrets untold. Silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Bearden, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. In the silence of space, they keep their post, shields unseen yet feared the most. With precision and speed, they warn of danger, keeping us safe from the missile's anger. As Bearden, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. Controls in the mix, secrets untold, silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Bearden, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. As Bearden, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alert